because the police were literally there. And that is a second example where police had the chance. Actually, this is the third time that Dahmer had a brush-in with the law and made it. The first time was after he killed Stephen Hicks in 1978, was driving with trash bags with his dismembered, cut-up body, and the police let him go, right, after he was swerving in lanes. Number two was when he got arrested and convicted for molesting a child, which was Conrac's brother. He only got 1 year in prison, and he got to work at a chocolate factory, right, Willy Wonka type shit. And then third was Conrac escaped from the home, the police show up, and they let Dahmer take him back to the apartment. So all I'm going to say for those two police officers, because what I will say as well, why this was a monumental L from those police officers was if they had run Dahmer's name, right, they would have seen that he was a sex offender, a convicted sex offender. And if they had done their due diligence, they would have probably been able to figure out that the child was a minor. Okay, Conrac was a minor. So they didn't do their homework, you know? And you also got to know, and this isn't because the police fucked up. I'm not even going to give them an out on this one. The reason why the police were so lazy on this was because, number one, it was a shitty neighborhood. Number two, right, the police had issues with the homosexual community at this time. This is the early 90s, guys. You guys got to remember as well. We need to also look at the climate. There was a lot of negative stereotypes about homosexuals back at this time. You know, HIV, AIDS, you know, they didn't want to necessarily associate and or stay in the apartment for a long time. One of the officers made a stupid crude joke about getting deloused or something like that after being at the apartment. So they didn't want to be there. They didn't want to do their due diligence and investigate the crime properly because, number one, it was a bad neighborhood. Number two, they were homosexual and they didn't want to come off as, you know, being biased. Number three, they didn't want to be around them in general because there was this negative stigma that gay people all had HIV and or AIDS, and if you hung around them, you can catch it too. And I know that's like, what, like, Myra, what the fuck? Like, what? Hey, guys, what the fuck? Back in the early 90s, no one knew. It was new. It was a new disease. So no one knew how no one knew where, number one, where it really came from, right? They just thought gays only had it. Number two, they didn't know how it was transmitted. And then number three, there wasn't enough education on it. So that was the atmosphere in the 90s. So all these factors led to them saying, oh, you know what? They're gay. We don't want to deal with this, whatever. And they didn't want to investigate. And they were lazy officers, lazy fucking policing, you know? So that right there, give them the... dispatch video by chance on that one? Okay, we do. Shout out to Autumn for finding it for us, by the way. Let me go ahead and pull it up for y'all real fast.